Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Well, it must be a Thursday because look who's just come into the studio. It's Richard Morrison. Of course, he's Kapiti Coast District Council's Eco-Design Advisor, and I talk with him on a Thursday. Hello, Richard. Furiously scrawling away notes there.
I thought I'd better have something to say, and I sort of got in the studio and I'm going, what am I going to talk about?
Well, you did tell me before you came into the studio off air that you've been reviewing new house plans recently.
Yep, I've done 3 or 4 in the last week and a half, so that's been really good for me. I've enjoyed them, and hopefully the client's gone away with a few tips. The other thing, I did have a guy come in the other day and he had a few specific questions, and I saw his house maybe 4 months ago. I had looked at his house plans and he said, this is full of Richard comments. And so I'm going, oh, what does that mean? And you know, there were things, he had changed window positions around, he had upgraded the levels of insulation through the whole house. He had done some design changes which meant that the flow of the whole new home was going to work a lot better. So yes, it was full of Richard comments, and he was pretty tickled pink about what he had done and what he was going to be able to live in with him and his partner. So yeah, I see plans and I review them. I get the people to think about what they want for the future, and then we start looking at the plans and I go through them and I sort of walk people through the plans. Does it have an entrance foyer? What are the levels of insulation in the whole building? How are you going to heat the building? Does it get adequate sun? Is it going to get too much sun from the west and from the east? So it's really interesting being able to work with people and do this sort of work with them and see what they can build and how they can improve their home.
Well, you have to look at, thinking about what you tell me, is where people spend the most time in their homes. Like some people might spend a heck of a lot of time in their bedrooms.
The official figures stack up as if you're an older couple. About 95% of your day is spent in your home, and I'm guessing a high percentage of that is in that kitchen, living room-ish space. It won't be the formal living room, the formal sitting room. It'll actually be that living space. And it's incredibly important that that gets sun. I was in a home a couple of weeks ago, an existing home, and there was no sun coming into the lounge. Beautiful day outside, and a little old lady that was sitting there was just freezing.
Oh.
And it's like you want to get a mirror and bounce sunlight back into the house, but of course the house is existing and it's not that easy.
Oh, the poor thing, that makes me sad. It's just some of those things that you don't know you need to even think about when you're buying a house. You just think, oh, if it's insulated, it'll be warm, but if the sun's not coming in through the windows...
Yeah, if the sun's not coming in, or you're not heating properly, or it's such a big home that you can't heat it properly. And I think that's where my role comes in. It's sort of throwing up this free, independent information, and it's having a third party look and review your choices.
You're actually giving a heck of a lot of value in your free visit because you, like we've said before, you look at the place really holistically. So I think that you, Mr. Listener out there, Mrs. Listener, need to write down Richard's number. See, even if you're renting a place or even if you've got plans for a new build, talk to Richard first. Like I say, there's a lot of value in that free visit. So his contact number's 296 4651, and you can catch him at Kapiti Coast District Council or here on Thursdays. Thank you, Richard.
Thanks a lot.
106.3 Beach FM.